My name is Brian Munyawarara. I was born here in Harare, Zimbabwe. I was born into a family of 5. When I was born, my mom was a registered midwife and she was working for Mbena Hospital. And my dad was a government employee working in the price control department. As we grew, we were staying in Chitubiza when I was born. And then, as time moved from year to year, found ourselves then moving from one neighborhood to the other. As my parents' income also increased, we also then managed to move from one suburb to the other. But through all those experiences and trying to grow from one area to another, one of the things that I learned or managed to do was to be able to interact with many different people. And I started off at Greenwood Primary School, then went to Ariel, then went to Hillcrest College. But I really feel that it was the time that I was at Hillcrest that I managed to have or grow my desire for giving and the philanthropic work that we do. I remember that at the end of my 6 years at Hillcrest, the headmaster, when he was giving me the award at the end of the year, he said,
every major occasion held in the previous few years has seen Brian at the forefront of the organizing committees. It is not surprising that he is one of the most effective head boys in the history of this school.
And it is those initiatives included us going to visiting orphanages within the Manicaland area, going to Chipinge, going to Rusape. And it is the work that we're doing there that often provoked me. I often share a story of how we went to Chipinge and we came across this child that had been born, but the child had been dumped. The mother just left the child and left him at the gates of that particular orphanage, which automatically meant that for this particular child, there was no real light. If no one else was going to come to the rescue, there was no real light for the future for this particular child. So when we went there, that child I think had been in there for about 2 or 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, and that child had just been there. And holding them and interacting, spending the day there. I remember we are also just high school children that are there, spending the time with them and trying to interact. It did something to me that I don't think I'll ever forget. It caused me to have the desire and the need for us to be able to help other people. So later on as we left, I went to university, and even as I was at university, I was often asking myself, what is my purpose? What is the one thing that I really want to do in this life? What is the thing that I'm going to do that will cause a change, not only in my generation, but for society as well? So often I took it upon myself and I spent some time praying and asking God to say, God, what is my purpose and what is the one thing that I want to do? Even after a certain period of time, I then managed to write down everything word for word. I know I have got the paper where I wrote down everything that we were going to do for the foundation. So I had the vision, but I didn't have the resources. Neither did I have the people to do it with. So in 2018, I then said, I'm not going to wait any longer to start this. Then we started it. It was one of my friends. Then we sat down and I said to you guys, look, this is the vision that I've got for the organization. This is what I want to do. I just want you guys to be able to help me for us to be able to do that. And I think one of the first initiatives that we did, or one of the things that we did first, was to start off with what we call now Feed the Soul. But what we did there at the time was that I went into TM supermarket in Rua, bought loaves of bread, bought polony, went to work, packed all those in foil paper and wrapped them with foil paper. And as I was doing so, my desire was for us to be able to go and feed the street kids. I had a desire and a burning desire to say, we need to be able to come up with something that's going to be more sustainable. We need to have something that's going to be more sustainable. That's how the partnership with the Anglican Diocese of Harare came about, where we then partnered with them. They were running a soup kitchen at the time, but we didn't have the resources to run a soup kitchen for a whole week.
We feed about 100 or more people here at the cathedral, the soup kitchen. Those guys from the Grace Life Partners, they are doing a wonderful job to help us here.
And then just through those initiatives that we then managed to find out later that there were child-headed families that were staying in Epworth, and we then would come up with hampers to go and try give those particular people those hampers so that they would also have some sort of food. Because for us, the reason why our food security initiatives and Feed the Soul was very important is because we thought that as an entry point to assisting someone, we can go and train them, but if they're hungry, they're not going to get anything. So that's how we then began to sort of like put structure into our organization. We then came up with 3 pillars that even today we run with, which are Feed the Soul, Educate the Soul, because we thought that we need to feed them first, educate them, and also then take care of them. With Educate the Soul, how we really started is we came across Panashe, but instantly we knew, through that interaction consistently, we knew that he would require some sort of education assistance.
I finished my A-level in 2014, and by the time I finished my A-level, things were a bit tough back home, so that I couldn't progress with my education. And at that time I had a brother who was still in primary school who also needed my help for him to finish his primary and high school. So at that moment in time I had to quit education so that I could find something that could bring money home. I started working as a restaurant waiter in Kariba till 2016 when I moved to Harare, still doing the same job. At that moment in time, that's when you could ask yourself, sometimes you can even get confused, ask yourself, like, when am I going to continue like this? In as much as I had passion in finance, I had to quit school because I had no option. I had a lot of responsibilities. I just told myself that our God is not the author of confusion. So I kept on praying until sometime in 2018, I think it was around June 2018, when Grace then located me while I was working in the restaurant.
Although we started with Panashe at university level, we found that we could be able to do that and aim and target more children and help them through their education journey at an early age. Now Panashe is graduating, and Panashe has done the foundation part, and he's one of the first people that are graduating from the foundation and through our Educate a Child program, which is testament to the work that we've been doing, and what we also hope that majority of all the other children, plus 100 of them, and the many more that we're going to onboard in the coming years, would be able to do, because he's managed to set a good example for the Educate a Child program. And now that program has also grown exponentially. Now where we ordinarily would have only 10 children that are on the scholarship program, now we have got more than 100 children.
Tendai School has actually benefited the Miriam Scholarship through assistance of 32 learners. And not only Tendai Primary School has benefited, so many schools in the district have been assisted. These include Fakwa schools, Kambuzuma schools, and Rugare schools.
That we are also paying for their education fees, and also taking it a step further to train them, to train their carers of how best to live and tackle life's issues today. And we find that this education program, we've got the atmosphere that as an organization, it's one of the programs that will help equip more and more and more and more communities in the future.
Ini great life iyi yaunza shanduko murugari sekuti zvataiona kudhara nezvataakuona iye zvino kuwana vatinavo vari kubata negreat life zvatoo nemusiyano. Vana vakutoteererawo, vana vakuziva kuti isusu tiri vanhu tiri nherera, tinofanirwa kuziva zvatiri kuita. Fanika vandinawo kana vamwe vandinoona kuma next door unongozi wachingoti ambuya chakaitirwa zvakanaka negreat, asi kuti nditsanangure zvakawanda wanda handigoni. Ndinowanikwa ndakutobatwa pamwe panguti zvawataura izvozvo zvakawanda. Inotibatsira zvekuti musha uno watochinja nayo, sekuti hatichaone vana vachinonhonga masadza uku, vana vaenda kunonhonga sadza uku kucheche uku rairaswa. Iye zvino kwakauya zvekunzi tsvina haisi kudiwa, unoona vana vachindendera kana kukaraswa anodzi maikwaya avanotengesa kuchikora majigisi zvinombouya zvoraswa kuminda uko vana vaienda vachinohura vachidya asi iye zvino hapachisiri sekuti vana vari kuwana zvekudya nachanzi tinopiwa tinopiwa usimbe hwako hwekubikira vana ukangochiwabikira havachamboendi kusango kuchinononga zvinhu.
Now with our Feed the Soul program, we then discovered that, look, we were giving the elderly and people that were, that couldn't afford, or that were on the social welfare program that was being run by the government, but were not the supplies that were coming were not necessarily enough for them to be able to take care of themselves. So we've gone from the child-aided families, we've now gone the elderly that are there, and many different children's homes. I remember going to Matthew Risike, to some other children's homes in Waterfalls, and even at Chinyara's children's home, where we are giving the hampers, but majority of the work that we were doing, even to assist the people, though they were grateful and though they can speak to it, we still felt that that was not sustainable. And we needed to come up with a solution that would enable these particular communities to be able to fend for themselves. That's when we then launched the Grace Life Foundation Greenhouse Initiative, where we then partnered with Chinyara's Children's Home. And through our partnership with Chinyara's Children's Home, what we managed to do is we set up a greenhouse project or initiative where we train, we equip, we help them fund, and we also help them take their produce to market.
Munyawarara was opened in 1962. Since 1962, we haven't had a project like we have got now. It's 2022. All the time we used to do like some chicks and they will flood the shops, we cannot sell them. At the end, we will give the chicks to the children. What we are going to get from greenhouse, the tomatoes, we are going to sell them. After selling the tomatoes, we are going to pay fees for the children, school uniforms, school bags, school shoes, so many things the children want, but we didn't have the money to buy them. Also, in education, most of our children here in Zimbabwe, they go for extra lessons so that they can have good results. But at Chinyarazo, we didn't have money to pay for those extra lessons. So our children, when they are at school, their pass rate is not above average. It was below. To me, it's because we are not sending our children for extra lessons. So now I'm happy. Like next year, I know something in education is going to.
And through this initiative, our objective is to be able to grow these particular communities, equip them with the necessary tools that they require, and then at the same time feed them. So they're growing their own produce, they make money from it, they're able to take care of the children that are staying in the orphanage, and at the same time also bring other people that are within the community to train, and that becomes a hub that is for expansion and is for growth. And the same skills that we're teaching them there, they too can be able to use in the communities there. So now we've moved from where we're just giving the food hampers, though they were offering immediate relief, now we've got a sustainable initiative that we're hoping to consistently take into the future. And when we talk about the Greenhouse Initiative, it's such a game changer for us as an organization, because we believe that we're able to, one, target more communities and be able to equip them with the necessary skills that they require. And secondly, and most abundantly, it's the fact that we are able to use this particular initiative to be able to go to many different provinces across the country and utilize the same initiatives where we train, we educate, and we help them take the produce to market. So we really do believe that this is a sustainable initiative that will carry on into the future and continuously be able to use. We're grateful to our partners, to the people that have managed to partner with us, to the people that have also championed the same causes that we're championing in healthcare, in education, and in food security. And for us, it is one of the things that we look forward to the most, to be able to realize that our foundation and our organization is a voice that is also championing the cause for change. And looking into the future, we believe that at the foundation and at our organization, it is an organization that will be at the forefront of championing change, of championing sustainable change for the beneficiaries. And this foundation is not only going to be a voice of reason in Zimbabwe, but also going into the continent, into the African continent, because majority of the problems we face here in Zimbabwe, the rest of Africa also does face. So it is championing the change that is required in those particular areas, and it will be one of the leading voices doing the work. And it's not only saying or talking about it, but it is also doing the work, and it is leading through action right from the front.